Okay, so I'm starting on number 7 as your homework helper here. And again, we are going to be solving things in standard form. So I am going to do my zeros. And if you feel more comfortable about doing y equals mx plus b, you need to let me know. And I can always do that on some of the problems. But it will require you to do a lot more work. So let's go ahead and get started here. So we are going to, so I'm going to put in 0 for x and a 0 for y. So if I put in, let me just get me a dark color here. If I put in a 0 for my x, then what that does is that eliminates that x, okay? Maybe I'll do the, okay, there we go. And so that's what my problem becomes. So I need to divide both sides by a -1 or a -3, and I get a -1. Okay, and then the next one, we are going to let y be 0, which again is going to eliminate this. So x equals 3. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing for my next one. So I'm going to let the x be 0. Okay, and so in this problem, remember that's a -1, so I'm going to divide both sides by a -1. Okay, so that is going to give me 4. Okay, my next one, I'm going to let y be 0. Okay, so in this case, I would divide both sides by 2. So I get a -2. Okay, so now I'm going to just graph those. So I have 0, -1. I have 3, 0. Okay, and if you need more points, if you look at this, I have a slope here of rise 1, run 3. And so I could do the opposite and get me another point if you need it. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to do the next one. I have 0, 4 and a -2, 0. Okay, and again, if I look at my slope, I go down 4, left 2. So I can do the same thing, down 4, left 2. Okay, and get me my points. And so there's my line. Okay, so my answer here would be a -3, -2. Okay. Okay, so we are going to let the x be 0. That gives y being a -2. We're going to let y be 0, and that makes it be a -2/3, okay? Because I would divide both sides by 3, okay? Now, again, if you wanted to, you could subtract 3x from both sides, because this one would be an easy one to do that too. And so I would get y equals a -3x minus 2. So see, we could also do that. Okay, the next one, if I let x be 0, divide both sides by 2, so y is 3. Okay, and then if I let my y be 0, x is 6. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and graph those. So the first one, I have 0, -2. And I have a 2/3, -2/3, 0. That would be right there somewhere. But if I look up here again and I want to do my slope, if that makes you feel better, I could have come from this point and gone up 3 and right 1, and then that would have given me also. Okay, so either way, I've got 0, 3, that is my other point, and 6, 0. So that is going to throw me off my graph. So again, this one I could have moved my x over, divided by 2. And I get 1/2 x plus 3, so my slope is 1/2. So I could go here, and from this point here, go down 2, or sorry, down 1, right 2, down 1, right 2, and then that would also work. Now my line, let's see, so if I kept going up, there's where my line is going to, whoops, that's a very poor line. Okay, so either way, there's where I'm crossing. So my answer would be -2, 4. Okay, so number 9. So if x is 0, I'm going to divide by 4. If y is 0, I'm going to divide by 5. Now that would be 16 over 5, which would be the same as 5 will go into 16 3 times. That's 15, which means there's 1 left over. So that's the same thing, okay? If, on this one, if x is 0, then I'm going to divide both sides by a -4. Okay, and if y is 0, I would divide both sides by 3. That's going to give me 16/3, which again will be 5 is 15 and 1/3. Okay. So go to graph, I'm going to have 0, 4 on my first one. Okay, that's that. I'm going to have 3 and 1/5, so 1/5 would just be barely over the 3. Okay, and again, there's my line. I'm going to go 0, -4, and then 5 and 1/3, so again, just a little bit over 5. Okay. Okay. And so I can see this is going to hit at 4, -1. Number 10, I'm actually going to do it the other way, just to show you if you want to do that. So I'm going to solve for y. This is an easy one, you could do that. So I get a -4x plus 4. So I'm going to have a slope of a -4 and a y-intercept of 4. I'm going to go ahead and graph that. So 0, 4, slope of a -4 would be down 4, right 1. And I'm down 4 again, right 1. Okay, there's my line. Okay, I'm also going to do the second equation that way. So y equals a -x minus 2, which means I'm going to have a slope of a -1, y-intercept of a -2. So down 1, right 1. Oops, just put that the wrong way. So down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. Okay, so again, those are going to hit right there. That same point they're going to share, even though my line didn't quite hit it. So that would be 2, -4. Okay, so again, that is solving systems by graphing. Please let me know if you have any questions over those.